Good day, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is my CPI SM250. It's manufactured in Taiwan. It's a 2013 model, and today we are going to do an oil filter and oil change. You might be wondering, why are you in the street changing your oil? And that is just part of living in an extremely dense city. I have no workshop, no garage. I have nowhere to work on my bike. Everything that I need to do this is right there in that bag. So let's get going. Now, something that you'll want to do is warm the oil up slightly, and what this does is it just thins it out to flow freely once you loosen up the drainage plug. So if you've got your own space to work in, run it for a few minutes, or like I've done, this place is just a couple of minutes from where I live, so the engine is warm enough. You don't want it too hot, because when you loosen up that bolt underneath your motorcycle, then you're gonna end up with hot oil falling all over you. So warm but not hot. So here's the tools that you'll need for the first step. Size 17, I have just a normal spanner, and I also have a T-bar. The T-bar just helps me with a little bit more torque on the bolt when I tighten it up. I have a pair of rubber gloves because, well, oil. I also have this to catch the oil in, and tissue. So having a look, here is your, what do they call it? Like a bump guard, or just a protective aluminium plate. This bolt right here, that would be your drainage bolt. Some people call it a sump bolt, oil bolt, I don't know, whatever. But that's what we'll be loosening up and draining oil out of. These gloves are definitely not my friend today. I sort of have had two failures. Anyway, so let's get on with what we're doing. So what I need to do is loosen up this bolt slowly, because you don't want the oil rushing out everywhere. So what you want to do is just loosen it, and then use your fingers to take it all the way out and let the oil flow out. So let's get on with that next. So the bolt has been loosened up. As you can see, there's no oil falling out, but what I'm gonna do now is just get it out the rest of the way. There's a washer on mine, so let me just show you. There it is. Be careful not to lose this, or you're gonna have a big problem. So there it is. That is the bolt that you need to remove, and there's the oil coming out. And what you want to do is, when the oil sort of just starts kind of dripping like that, what I'm going to do now is lean my bike over in case there's any oil stuck in corners, or so I'm going to pull it over. Be careful. Wa-cha-cha! Nah, that seems to be about it. Okay. Oh, hello. So, just want to take your bolt, plug, whatever. Also have a look. The bottom of this bolt is, I don't know if it's focusing. What do the YouTube people do? Something like that. The bottom of this bolt is magnetic, so you'll want to give that just a little bit of a clean as well. Make sure everything's all right. You don't want to be putting dirt back, oops, like that. My dad would kill me right now. You don't want to be putting dirt back into the engine, so I'm going to give this a clean, and I'll get right back to you. Okie dokie, so there you go. It's been cleaned, and I'm gonna put it back where it belongs. Just tighten that up. Get the oil out of the way. Now, this T-bar is just a little bit of a tight squeeze for me, but work with what you got, right? So the sun decided to come out and blast me with its fury. But anyway, I've moved up under a tree. So the bolt has been placed back, it's tight, and that's fine. So now what I'm gonna do is, this is the oil filter, and when you remove the oil filter or the cap for the oil filter, you need to be really careful because there is a gasket here, and unless you have a spare, which I don't have at the moment, if you break that gasket or damage it completely, then you're gonna have a little bit of a problem. It depends on the severity of the damage to the gasket. There was a point when my gasket actually was, at one point was split, but I put it back, tightened it, and there was no oil leak. Also, pay attention to the bolts. One of these bolts, I'm not sure which one it is. There's one quite long one and there's two short ones. So just be sure where those are placed. Also, have your oil pan or oil bowl or whatever you're using, have that ready, because obviously oil has been filtering through here. So when you open this, oil is going to be coming out, so be prepared for that. This is a size 8mm, and also big fan of the T-bar. Use it wherever I can or whenever I can. The 17mm T-bar is a little bit difficult for underneath the bike, and the part that you didn't see is that I actually had to tilt the bike to get the T-bar in to tighten it enough. I don't know why I brought the regular spanner, because that actually didn't work at all. When loosening the bolts, just take it easy. You don't want to strip them either. There you go, all 3 bolts are loose. Now, there you go, that's one of the shorter ones. Let's get this one out. Tra-la-la-la-la. And this one will be the long one. So, there you go. See? Quite obvious. So shouldn't be a problem. Okay, now, the gasket, be careful, just sort of, because obviously the gasket would be stuck to the cover and the bike and all sorts of wonderful places. Okay, let me see. There we go. Easy does it. Okay, so then you'll just want to take a look. This gasket was one that I replaced. It doesn't look too bad. I'm not going to fiddle with that. There's no brakes on it. There's oh, sorry, I'm busy having a look at it. So there's no brakes on it. There's no damage to it. So that one's fine for me. Here is the oil filter. Also, there is a spring. And that's the spring. So the spring will be at the back of the oil filter, and that's just to maintain sort of tension on the oil filter. As you can see, this is just a regular paper filter, and today I'm going to replace it with a reusable one. So there's a bit of oil in here, so I'm just gonna grab tissues stuff them in there. Whoop, camera wobble. Just get in there, clean it out. Okay, so everything is sorted, old oil is out. Just give everything a bit of a wipe. All right, so this is the replaceable and reusable CPI SM250 filter. As you can see, it is metal rather than paper. I cleaned it out, also cleaned out the O-ring on it, or the seal. So here's what we want to do. Spring, okay, so the spring goes in at the back. You can see there's a space for it. Well, it'd be nice if it stayed there, that would be great. Right, give it a bit of a twist, and then this part will be facing outwards because it goes into the cover like that. Okay, I don't even know, is this thing in focus? I don't know. Okay, so this side first, in like that. Cover on, it's a bit fiddly, well, and there we go. Obviously the tension is from the spring, so it's gonna try and give you a bit of a fight. Get the bolts in there. The third one. Okay. I tighten them up equally. I don't have any torque wrench or anything like that. Some people, I don't know, I've never used one. Even when I've done a piston and ring replacement, I've never used a torque wrench. So, and hasn't come back to bite me in the ass just yet. So I tighten them all up, sort of clockwise, anti-clockwise, whatever you want. And then I go around again, just tweak them like that. As you can see, and there you go. Oil filter replaced, oil drained, and now we're going to get on to putting oil in the engine. Would be a logical place. Be right back. Oh, there we go. Be right back. So let's talk oil for a moment. This is my brand of choice. I've always used Motul. When I had my two-stroke and I was racing, this was just always my brand of choice. This is a fully synthetic 10W40. Taiwan is not a cold weather island, so that's what I choose to go with. Follow your manufacturer's advice, your mechanic's advice. Google is your best friend if you're not sure. The 10W40 stands for the viscosity of the oil at different temperatures. W actually stands for winter, so it does depend on the climate that you live in, but this is just what I've always used, and this is always the brand. If I can't get this one, I go for Repsol or Castrol. You get what you pay for in the end. 100% synthetic or fully synthetic oil is the best quality. If you go down for mineral or any other type of oil that isn't fully synthetic, then what you're doing is you're lowering the quality of the oil that you're putting into your machine. So yeah, I think just get the best advice that you can and go with that. Nobody wants, what am I looking for? A broken bike, ever. No. So what we have here is 2 oil plugs. Each of them actually have a different role. This small oil plug at the bottom, let me just loosen it up, get it out of there. This is your oil stick, oil checker thingy, majiggy, whatever. Okay, how's it? How's it? Is that what they do? Okay, so this is this is to check how much oil you've got in your bike. Obviously, I have nothing. So we're going to give that a bit of a tighten up. Grab the... Oh, no. Should have brought the shorter ones, but anyway. Now, just get that on. Right, so this is this one here. This is the business end. This is where all the good stuff goes in. So what I'm doing is, there we go. Now, some brands of oil do have like a little pouring spout on them. The Motul doesn't. I believe the Repsol does. So this is my little funnel. Make sure it's clean. I usually just keep it covered, but always double check. The CPI SM takes 1.5 liters of oil. So that is a bottle. Oh, no! Liquid gold is spilling. So just take your time. Don't be like me. Well, I suppose it would help if I didn't block. You want it all. Get it all. Okay, so that is 1 liter. As you can see, I opened it completely for pouring ease. But because I only need 500 mils of this one, I have given myself a little bit of way to control it. So let's have a look. 200. Gluck, 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 gluck. There's definitely a couple of maintenance things you really should, even if you don't do it yourself, you should at least know how to do it. Sounds a bit weird, I guess, but I kind of like spending time with my bike. I don't know. Call it a bonding moment, but anyway. Okay, there we go. So 500 mils of oil in total. We've got 1.5 liters. Okay. Plug back in. Make sure there's nothing on it. Make sure it's not dirty. You haven't dropped it in something. Put that back on. Well, try to put it back on. Oi. So there we go. Oil filter and oil change on a CPI SM250. And in case you might be wondering, please do not throw the used oil down a drain or into any piece of land or onto the grass or anything like that. I take the oil, I pour it into a bottle, and I take it to a local scooter shop that disposes of it, and they take care of it. Please, it doesn't take a lot of oil to pollute rivers, waterways, water supplies. So if you're going to be doing your own maintenance on your motorcycle, just practice a few sort of environmentally friendly cleanup methods. And yeah, so there it is. If you have any questions, please drop a comment, send me a message, and I will be happy to help you in any way I can.